Eighth graders, Mr. Schmidt back here with you again, standard check-in number 2. And I want to thank those of you that are doing the work. You are definitely making yourself better as you go into high school. And at the end of this school year, I'm going to go back through, and those of you that have taken the time to get better yourself in the area of science, I will definitely have something for you. Whether I'll be able to get that to you this summer or have you come pick it up for me when we start school next year, promise you that I will have something for you, those of you that took the time to do the work and get yourself better in the area of science. As we take a look here, found out that some of you are getting confused when certain things are in Google Classroom and certain things you have to make a copy of. And so I just am, from here on out, going to just have you make a copy of my document, and then make sure you come up here in the corner and hit share that with me. And then make myself a note here for you. There you go. Some of you have your work done, and some of you are just not sharing it with me. And so please share your documents with me. That's pretty key. Similar to last week's, but I want to start out by having you go to Flipgrid. You can just click on the link there. It's called Mr. Schmidt Science. And then go ahead and log in using your school Google account. Then you need to click on the big green circle with a white plus sign in it and just say hi, and that kind of gets you started with using Flipgrid. Flipgrid's one of the things that we're going to give you as an option for turning in assignments if you'd like to do it that way, or especially that's the direction that we're going to go when we do our Genius Time stuff, and more of that information will be coming out this next week. Please do that. Then, did you share your Earth Systems Part 1 document with me on the water cycle there? Yes or no? Did you do the IXL just as an extra learning? And then what I would like for you to do is to draw or make your own model of the water cycle, and then label your model using the words down on the bottom. You can take a picture and paste it in there. If you want to do a Flipgrid and send it to me that way, hey, Mr. Schmidt, this is my picture of the water cycle. Here's where condensation is. Here's where runoff is. Here's where precipitation is. Here's where evaporation takes place. That's perfectly fine. Just make sure you make a note of that, that my model is on Flipgrid. If you want to build yourself a model, awesome. Some of you are really handy with that. If you want to draw it as a picture, I'm perfectly fine with that as well. But upload that if you want to do that with taking a picture with your computer or with your phone and uploading it, or do a Flipgrid. I'm great with that. Next, have you turned in Earth Systems Part 2 document with me? Yes or no? And then have you done the IXLs? And then the bottom part here, just a little bit of some extra. Using your Earth Systems Part 1 and Part 2 and the videos below to answer the questions. Okay. How does the interaction of an air mass, warm and cold fronts, result in weather conditions? It's good that it's important that we understand how those warm and cold fronts, the air masses, how they cause weather patterns. What are 2 things that cause different climates in different parts of the world? Go back to your documents for those. If you have those 2 documents done, those 2 questions should be really easy. And then a little bit of an extra here. We're getting into the approaching of tornado season. And when we talk about weather fronts and them meeting and the possibilities of what could happen. The first one there, how is a tornado formed? And take a look at that video. Has some great information on how tornadoes are formed, warm and cold, air masses coming at each other. And they go by each other for a while, and then they decide to fight like a bunch of cats going round and round and round. And then the next one there, tornadoes in the U.S. Why are tornadoes more common in the United States than any other place in the world? There's a great map on that video, and it shows how many tornadoes have actually been in Europe and other parts of the world compared to the United States. And a lot of that has to do with the Gulf Stream coming up. Some things that you worked with last time on the Earth Systems Part 1. Great information there that will help better understand this. And then what is Tornado Alley? And then is Sioux Center in Tornado Alley? When they draw that up on the map, does that include Sioux Center in your judgment of that? And then I'd like you to go into checking for understandings number 2. There's some questions here as you take a look. Obviously your name, your science core. If you have not done the checking for understanding number 1, please do that. What type of weather is your favorite and why? I just want to know what kind of weather your favorite is. Some people like a good thunderstorm, especially when they sleep at night. Some people, they don't like that. And what is your favorite type of weather? And then some questions here. The diagram shows the weather pattern on a coastal mountain. So coming off like the Pacific coast, warm air, it approaches the mountains. What's the difference there? Location 1 versus location 2 as far as rain and snow and those types of things. What's the difference? Think about the warm air, and then when that air rises, what happens to it? As it gets to the top of the mountain, what we usually find on the top of the mountain that then would result on the other side of that mountain. If you look at a map of Pangaea, we've talked about Pangaea where the supercontinents were all together. Talked about what Iowa used to be like earlier in the year. And then if you were to look at that, what is the likely effect that this would have on the climate of that time? So was Iowa extremely cold and nothing grew there? Was it warm and tropical? Or was it the same as it's always been? What evidence do we have? Things we've talked about throughout the school year. And then ocean currents. They bring what type of water towards the poles and then away from the poles there to fill in those blanks. And then just simply clicking on those things. Select all of the documents below that you have shared with me, that you have clicked the blue shared button and shared with me. Hopefully, every one of them is one that you've done. And then, did you create and upload your water cycle model in the standards check-in number 2 document or a Flipgrid? Did you do that? And then, what makes you smile? There's a lot to smile about. I know that we're not going to be together for the school year, and maybe some of you are smiling about that. But, you know, as I sit here in the classroom, I have a little bit of time to be in the room, and I look around. I don't like an empty room. I don't like this room being without students, and so that in itself doesn't make me smile. But what does make me smile is you guys getting better, is spending time with my kids, the beautiful weather outside. Those types of things make me smile. And what makes you smile? And I want you to keep smiling. And so. Make sure that you are responding to Mr. Judge and the things that he has for your high school classes. Step up, be a warrior, do the things that warriors do, and that's they do the work even when it's optional. They do the work, and make sure that you are doing that. I look forward to seeing those of you that are in my homeroom at our meeting on Tuesday. If you're not in my homeroom, make sure you tune into your homeroom meeting. We would love to see you as your 8th grade teachers. Again, don't just make it a great week, okay? Be great. Be great.